Hello everybody and welcome to episode 30 of the Contest Realm podcast. 30 episodes! Can't believe it. We started at the start of the year, as most things do, and look how the world's turned after. Is it a reflection on Contest Realm podcast? No, it bloody well isn't, so mind your own business. But what you should mind the business of is the various places you can pick up the podcast on. SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, and iTunes podcast. We're available on all of it, so make sure that you are following all of those things. As all you know, my podcast, no, I say my, it's not my podcast, my fellow, I'm not even starting this very well for episode 30, Dan. I'm trying to do an introduction, and I was going to say my co-host has been putting work, as always, in www.frontlinemcc.home.blog. Make sure you put in a bookmark and make it your favorite. And as well, if you don't know, myself and Dan do the little incursion streams on Fridays where we test out a certain champion. But that's all going to change. Lots of things are changing. But hello, Dan. I should really bring you into the podcast.
Hey, Rich. How are we doing on this Friday?
Yes, there we go. That's the first thing. This has now been
Friday.
Being recorded on Friday. Dan has very graciously agreed to help me out with some time and scheduling issues that I have, in that I spend most of my time making videos and I don't spend enough time taking care of myself and taking care of my own life, and the weekends just seem to be like I'm investing a lot of time here, there and everywhere, so I need to be better to give people in my life more time. I love giving Dan my time. You know, I think it was Mark always says that we have great chemistry and M should be jealous. Shout out to Mark if you're listening. But yeah, it's and I say thank you to Dan for that. We've also decided in the last, say, few hours that we're going to be trying balancing out what we do on a Friday. With Marvel Realm being a part of the podcast, we want to try and incorporate it a bit more into what we do. So on a Fridays, we'll either be doing incursion streaming, or we'll be switching it up and doing a Marvel Realm stream. So that's going to be quite fun. I'm looking forward to that, Dan.
Yeah, me too. I don't think there's been too many streams yet of that game, so
no.
Looking forward to breaking that out next Friday.
Yeah, that's the thing. Starting Friday, we're going to try and find another person to join us. We don't know if we're in the cool gang to get some of the bigger people to join us, but we'll see if we're cool enough to bring some people from the CCP in to join us. With Dan streaming on YouTube, me streaming on Twitch, and maybe we can find another person either on YouTube or Twitch to join us. In any case, we're going to start episode 30. It's pretty impressive to think that we are here.
I know.
Do you remember we started talking about the idea, the ambition was this year to get a New York Comic Con and do the podcast wars where we go against everybody we don't go against everybody, but you know, there could have been competitions, there could have been things where we all meet up in a big kind of Airbnb and record a podcast.
Yeah.
And as well, the idea that we would me and Dan maybe try to work into maybe staying in a big Airbnb between us, and like every day we go to the Comic-Con, we kind of gather what was going on, and then in the evening record a podcast on the fly on the daily. And yeah, just it's sad to think we won't be able to do that.
I know we had big plans. We were so young, so naive back in February of 2020.
Yeah, God. We're not. I'm feeling a bit kind of like melancholy here, just thinking about the fact we're 30 episodes in.
Yeah, I mean the 30 episodes thing is great, but thinking about New York Comic Con and the only time of the year that we would get to hang out in person and get to see so many of these people that we interact with all the time in the community, as far as the Kabam team and other content creators and fans of Marvel Contest of Champions. It's New York Comic Con is one of the highlights of the year for me. I really look forward to it. So hopefully everything will be back to normal for 2021, and we'll see everyone there then. Yeah,
and it'd be kind of cool as well because we could try and do, well, I don't know if we'll be able to find like a more of a private place, because I end up like wrecking my voice, and I've just come off a 2-hour live stream, so I'm eating a fruit lozenge at the moment in order to try and make sure that my I'm not losing my voice, but by the end of Comic-Con I'm sounding a bit like this.
Oh, isn't everyone trying to shout through those crowds? And
Yeah.
it is. If you haven't been there before, it's just it's hard to imagine like being in an ocean of people like that again, considering how we've been with social distancing the last 6 months or so, where you walk down the street and you're just like, oh no, someone's gonna come within 6 feet of me.
Yeah.
and when you're thinking about the line to get in New York Comic Con and just how many thousands of people are going through those doors, it's a radically different experience.
But good news is that they are expanding. I saw an article that even through COVID, and after they not demolished, but they took down the temporary hospital at the Javits, they're expanding. So hopefully it means that it's not too much the sardine issues that we have at New York Comic Con. I would say that about between 9, well, I don't know if you're allowed in at 9:30. I always thought it was 10 o'clock, but they start trickling people in. For the very first 30 minutes and also from about 4 p.m. in the evening, it's beautiful.
Oh, it's delightful during, the first hour and the last hour are delightful, but say like 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., you just sort of, it's like a current of people, and if you step into it, you're going to get moved somewhere. It may not be where you're looking to go, but you will be swept up by the sea of people.
Yeah. It's been nice reminiscing about New York Comic Con, but unfortunately we've now got to get into the topics. So this is episode 30 entitled Show Up for the Beta, and so is the Showdown for Master. Hang on, I wrote this title and I'm already kind of like, it doesn't make sense. Why didn't I think... Basically, I'm making a mockery of the showing up to the beta of, not mockery, but showing up to Marvel Realm beta, and as well how the Showdown is so specific towards masteries. And the talking topics are going to be quite diverse. We're going to begin by mentioning that we'll be talking about the Phoenix Incursions run in the following stream. So next week's podcast, we'll be talking about what we found from Phoenix as an option for incursions, which we're going to be doing very shortly. But the first thing that's been announced by Kabam is that there's a celebration for those that have done the business of 100%ing things as quickly as possible. Now, before, Dan, they only did like a very kind of minor type homage to those.
This is much bigger in scope than I thought. I just thought it was going to be three people sending us a Cavalier Crystal. And this is much bigger in scope, which makes it very exciting because we're getting 7-hour Legends crystals, which we get when we log in. And I know everyone is very excited about this. 20% gold and battle chip boost. I need that gold, and I have been hoarding my gold crystals. And they're bringing back the 1 and 2 star arena, which everyone loves. So special solo objectives, event trade-in, halls of healing, fortune, and for the first time ever, halls of glory. So I like that. And then, of course, they do want us to spend a couple bucks, so they're going to be putting some new crystals in with the daily specials as well.
Wow.
But it's pretty big in scope, so I'm looking forward to a lot of the free stuff.
Yeah, it's also good to see something that Kabam have put in where so far it's all on likes and awesome. 45 awesomes to 3 likes. I'm just going to refresh this and see what we're looking at now. Oh, we've got 1 agree, 4 likes, and 60 awesomes.
I like the thought of just like agreeing with this. Yes, I agree. This is a good idea.
Yeah.
But it's good that they've got 58 awesomes and no LOLs. That's what you're shooting for these days.
Why do I feel like I've got like, if you're watching on YouTube, I've got like my thumb or my kind of like cursor hovered over like disagree and laugh out loud. I'm thinking, do I be that one dick to do that? And I'm like, no, okay, maybe not then. Oh, tempted.
Rich, haven't you had enough to disagree with this week? Haven't you gotten it out of your system?
Yes, that is a good point.
It has been some salty Marvel contest news in the morning. Wake up, get my coffee, do the dishes, and see what Rich is fired up about today.
Yeah, he made. I think for me, and we'll kind of like lead into this second story, because that celebration thing looks good. But the Summoner Showdown. Now, I've got very kind of like mixed feelings about this, but mainly about the way that it's been set up. Like a lot of the stuff nowadays is not run across like that CCP, and like, should it or shouldn't it be? I don't know. To be honest, I think half the time, if too much was run past the CCP, players would complain. I think
especially something like this with a competitive angle to it. It's not really ideal if we have a heads up on what the challenges are. Like that's an unfair competitive advantage if we were to know. It's like, okay, it's going to be Silver Surfer with these nodes. Like that would not be good.
Yeah. This is the thing that I have with the Summoner Showdown. Like, I like the way that it was put together, but I don't like the elements of masteries holding so much of a front and center to how this event or how this competition is won and lost.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody is gonna win if you don't run Suicide Masteries. You just won't be able to do it. The damage output is not there. The rotation is not there against having a standard mastery. And it shows. It really does. All those people that are synonymous for running Suicide Masteries and as well as showcasing the footage are using those type of mastery setups. So it does cause a bit of an issue for what considered to be... Well, I don't know. There's always a fine line between me saying like, oh, well, that's fair and that's unfair. Because people are like, well, I run Suicide Masteries, so it's not fair. It's not unfair against how I function. So I don't know. Like, I'm not personally going to change my mastery setup in order to do this competition. It's just not viable for me currently. Are you considering it?
No. I mean, I'm not super interested in the competitive side of this. For myself, I'm glad that they're doing the competition, but I know I can't beat these scores. These things are crazy.
Yeah.
So when you think about, okay, you need a perfect run with a 4-star against a $1.4 million hit point Silver Surfer that is being somewhat stingy on his specials.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. I just don't have the time to put in the work to put up even a decent time. So it's just one of those things that personally I'm going to skip and cheer on the people that are doing it. I am interested to see if the other two bosses in the first round also require Suicide Masteries to win. Because if it's something where 1 week it's a very suicide heavy challenge and 1 week it's not, I think that changes the narrative a little bit. Clearly for this week you have to run Suicide Masteries. I don't think anyone is saying otherwise. You have to have a ranked up Medusa and you have to be running Suicide Masteries. So that's just what this week is.
Yeah.
So it's not, but that's not unlike New York Comic Con, where for the first hour we all sort of play around with different champion ideas. Then someone puts up a good time, and everyone gravitates to the meta champion, and that's all that we're doing. Because there had been talk about Sasquatch early on, and I guess he's good, but not fast enough. There had been. I had seen some people testing out Bishop, like MCOC Doc, and it was just too hard to put it together. And then Medusa became the end all of week one very quickly.
Yeah, I mean 340 hits, even though in some ways it doesn't feel like that many hits. It's like it's sustaining it, and you can't get hit.
Yeah, you can't get hit. You need him to be playing ball with throwing the specials. You need to be getting all your furies and timing everything right. It is a lot to ask for to see those runs. I mean, I do believe the skill is rising to the top, but you do have to play it a lot of times for that to happen as well.
Yeah, I think when I did my show up, the the idea was like, I think I'd spent a little bit of time, I think 30 minutes on the day to kind of go, all right, okay, how's this fight looking? I'm making mistakes. And it took like an hour to fine tune it to then use a 4-star Colossus to then do the bit.
Yeah.
Granted, I had a synergy behind it, but
this was the original.
This was the original,
right? Yeah.
And like, it was just a case of like getting it right. And it's time consuming, like an hour, I think an hour to get it to a point where I'm like, look, I'm not going to waste revives in this. I wanted to at least kind of give my my best to it.
Yeah.
And it's like, still, you had to put a lot of effort to kind of like fine tune the skill set. You had to understand the way that the Silver Surfer moves, the way how he throws specials, when he throws his specials, and little things, nuances to it. And the same thing with the SP2. Yeah, it's just, there's a lot I have to focus on. This is why week 2 is going to be interesting, as there's no mystics. You're not allowed mystics.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I intentionally fought Captain Marvel movie without a mystic.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've done it. It would probably be maybe an arena where I didn't have a choice, but certainly not by design. But I think that's fine for the competitive part of it, though. Like, make it hard. It's about showing off your skills. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think it'd be good as well. Hopefully, week 2 sees some alternatives for champions to use, and maybe it won't be a case you'll do it in 340 hits with some champions and Suicide Masteries. That other players are going to be using something else, and like you said, they may change the way that the champions interaction may not benefit those of Suicides. It may be a case they'll put I don't know, heal block on stuff, and well, I suppose if you got poison immune and whatnot.
It doesn't take much to short circuit Suicide Masteries if they want to go in that direction. There's certainly nodes out there that will do that, right?
Yeah, it's kind of weird that the first well, it's not weird. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird the way that they set up the fight parameters as being very much we've got cold snap, so an armor break. That's one thing I think for a lot of players. It was, first of all, like, I don't have any cold snap immunity, and it was like, well, if you got armor break classifies as well, yeah, but cold snap's doing, yeah, but armor break,
right? Read the notes. I mean, the cold snap immunity became really a moot point, didn't it? Because Medusa is not cold snap immune, and she's the one on top of the leaderboard. Yeah, and that's the power of the armor break. As long as you keep consistent and keep it up, you're doing all right. Oh yeah, and especially for the show up difficulty, where you can bring the synergy team and you can bring in Karnak and Black Bolt and Ronan. You can really level that poor Silver Surfer with that team.
Yeah, so I think week 1 has been interesting so far. I want to see last minute leaderboard changes.
That would be exciting if some people are gonna make some last second runs to really try to kind of like that last minute bid on an eBay item.
Yeah,
right. Like, try to sneak in there.
So far, Sweater is gonna prove my Twitter post correct. So from a lot of things that prior to, like, people. I wouldn't say whinging, but I think I said something along the lines of, like, I guarantee only one Marvel Contest of Champions YouTuber will qualify at all over all 3 things. Oh no, hang on, I'll get it. I probably will get it wrong if then for the next 2 weeks, then Marvel Contest of Champions YouTubers qualify. So I've got still like 2 weeks to be proven wrong, but I'm hoping that no one qualifies that's an MCC YouTuber and I get that right. But in any case, it doesn't really matter. It's the taking part that counts. But I love the competition of seeing some random people like coming in last minute, taking the positions, and just showcasing that it's not all about like who people know. It's all about the unknown, and I love that. I think that creates excitement.
Absolutely. No. And it's always cool when you see someone come out of nowhere, right? And establish themselves as a great player. I find that exciting.
Yeah, that's what's this Summer Showdown 2019 was about with DT Melodic Metal and
Absolutely.
Metal Sonic Dude for the Beat the Boss. Two kind of like amazing moments that just made that event. Just like, don't know these people, don't care like what people have gone like, okay, this person definitely going to win. This person's definitely going to beat this person. It's so funny the amount of people that have come up to me and kind of said like, oh yeah, this person's going to win, and they don't. And it's like, look, don't always believe the hype. You know, get behind an underdog.
That's right. And there's just so many skilled people out there in some of these top alliances that we just don't see gameplay for.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Those folks are in those alliances for a reason. They're pretty good.
Yeah, true. Okay, been a bit of a weird week for new champions. Airwalker's gone ridiculously low. I think I've seen, I think it was like 30 mil in the arena for Airwalker. I think on this round 2, I think it's going to peak close to about 40 mil. Surprising to see that champion go so low.
Yeah, hype level 0. Yeah, so I think this is what happened with Airwalker, right? So this month is insane. There's so much content in the game. You've got your normal 2 champions coming out. Airwalker and DragonMan are not the most well-known champions as far as like the comic book universe, right?
Yeah.
So there's not built in the hype that say like Professor X will have just by virtue of who that is for next month. And then on top of that, Magneto is getting buffed. And Magneto is one of the most popular characters in the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
And he's finally going to be awesome in-game. So I just think Magneto just stole all the attention from DragonMan and Airwalker because he's a champion that people are emotionally invested in because of all the comics and movies. And he looks like he's going to be really, really awesome. So... and then we've got the Showdown, we've got this Legends thing, we've got Variant 5, we have the Realm gameplay release and beta. There was just too much other stuff to talk about when you compare that to Airwalker, who's just not well known and doesn't look like he's going to impact anyone's accounts.
Yeah, I quite liked him. I thought he was like how I would have liked Silver Surfer, but just like if Silver Surfer was kind of operating at about 10% of what he could be, Airwalker was like the 20%. It's like it was good. It was a little bit of an improvement, but it wasn't, I don't know, the potency we were all expecting.
Right. I think, and the cosmic class is so stacked.
Yeah.
You have to really bring something special to the table because a lot of us already have a maxed out Hyperion, a maxed out Captain Marvel, a maxed out Corvus, maybe Venom the Duck, maybe Venom in there, right? Like there's so many good cosmic champs.
Yeah, I wonder if this brings it to a point of us like wondering, because like we have 2 champions a month, 2 new champions a month, and the concern that I have is that as we come to a point of having some of the major character releases and we're doing 2 champions a month, are we kind of like flooding the game with, no, I wouldn't say irrelevant champions, but definitely champions that are overshadowed by the need for us to now look back more than we look forward?
Marvel has such a deep bench that if they still wanted to put in big name characters to get everyone excited, they could. I'm looking at Gabe's MCOC wish list. I mean, there's still Adam Warlock, Sandman, Quicksilver, Kraven, Kitty Pryde, Beta Ray Bill, Jubilee, Black Cat, like Captain Britain, Bullseye. There's so many big names still out there.
Yeah.
Right? That they're not going to run out of champions anytime soon. They've just gone in a certain direction where they're going with the hidden gem champions that are not as well known. But the community has shown that if the champion build is good, we get very attached to these unknowns very quickly. Like nobody knew who Clairvoyant was this time last year.
Yeah, Warlock as well.
Warlock, right? Like maybe a little more than Clairvoyant, but But yeah, that's the point, right? Like those are not A-list characters, but you give them a good kit, and we get attached really quick. So it's all about, people would like Terrax if Terrax was good, or if Mole Man was good, but they're not really good. So it's just kind of we just kind of brush them aside.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Like I like a lot of these obscure ones, but it's just the concern when I'm kind of like talking about looking back is like why Kabam we're looking back. We have to go back in order to bring old champions into the fresher light, and that's the thing at the moment with because older champions now, players are getting older champions. The older champions are the trash champions, which are now being looked at to revamp for the the new pledge by Kabam. So that's the thing. It's like, for me, I love Hulkbuster. That's been revamped, and I love that a bit. Colossus, same principle.
Oh yeah,
and the new the Magneto OG. Now I haven't had enough time to look over, and by the time I release the podcast out, it should be a case that the Magneto House of X version we're allowed to talk about. So actually no, it won't. The podcast will be about a bit earlier. So
yeah.
We can't talk about that.
You can't actually say what you just said.
No, exactly. No, okay, I'll switch it. No, I'll put it out at 6 p.m. then, so we'll be fine to kind of mention that it's called House of X.
Oh, so you'll put it out on Sunday?
Yeah, I'll put it out on Sunday.
Okay.
I won't be able to put it out today, so the podcast will go out Sunday as normal. And
okay.
We'll also go out at because we've got an embargo time for this, double checking. Yeah, so I'll put it out at 6 p.m. So this covers that. And what I'll do, actually, because I won't have enough time to make a video, I'll be too wrapped up with work. I will actually put on top with I won't be working. I'll be on holiday. What am I talking about? I will put over the top of this video. So if you're on YouTube, you'll be able to see this. If you're not on YouTube, then you'll have to find a way of seeing this. Or everyone else will probably release a video on him, but
they probably will.
Yeah, probably will. Exactly.
They probably will.
I'll just find some of the footage that I was gonna utilize for a video, which I was gonna like put on the abilities and stuff. I've got to make sure that this video isn't gonna go too loud. Got to mute it down. There we go. Right, okay. So Dan can't see this, but it's basically talking about the champion, and I'm gonna put it on screen at the moment. So he has a pre-fight ability. Dan, did you get a chance to test him out?
I didn't even get to unbox him, no.
No. Okay.
There was too much going on.
Well, what I can do then, Dan, is I can actually kind of showcase what I'm showing on screen if I share my screen with you on Discord. So, see, this is the thing. If you got like, am I able to show you this? Share your screen. And don't worry, chat, you'll be able to see this in a second. So let me know when you can see my screen, Dan. If you click on the live stream chat.
There, yep.
Yeah,
I see it. Cool. I see it.
Yes. My messy desktop, but the chat won't see
do.
that.
Yeah, you might want to clean up those folders, Rich.
I'm kind of like Einstein level genius. So
yeah, you don't. The clutter doesn't stop you.
That's the excuse I'm running with. Okay, so I'm just gonna this is just a load of footage that I don't have time to put this into a video, but yeah. Pre-fight ability. So I should put this on so chat can see this. Not chat. The stream can see this. Get down. Come on. Okay. Right. So yeah. Magneto pre-fight ability. Attackers in the fight gain plus 15% attack rating. Hashtag metal and hashtag hero attackers trigger passive stun effects instead of debuffs with the parry mastery, and they last 0.5 seconds longer. I found some discrepancies with this. At times, just didn't feel it was working correctly, but I think that's because the beta sometimes is a bit kind of like hit and miss. It's not perfect, but it will do. I did find from the damage output side of things, it's not the same. If you want this to be the same, it's not.
Same as Red Magneto.
Yeah, it's like one. I kind of assume them to be like if you want damage output, raw damage output, go OG Magneto. If you want utility, go Magneto Marvel now or House of X version. This is my first ever play of him, so don't expect any kind of like thrills and spills. So you get the magnetized up there. You got the passive. It's not passive. It's like it's like a passive debuff. Again, like timing wise, I'm trying to play this as it's a Magneto Marvel OG Magneto, and I'm like trying to build up the prowess. I'm trying to see the extent of prowess build, and it doesn't do that. It has a limit to the extent of prowess it does build.
Yeah.
I think I've also got some abilities that I think... So I just want to skip along a bit. You can build prowess, but it's like, again, don't expect like a huge damage output. You do get the cruelty buff, which is nice.
Yeah, so a lot of prowess, some buffs, so could be an interesting incursions champion.
Yeah, that would be nice. I am actually looking forward to Magni. Oh god, bloody hell, 76,000. That maybe it is quite good then. But I think I found it more as a utility champ than I did anything. I'm just trying to see because I was playing about. I need to load the other video that just showcases the abilities. Momento Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did I actually take a subsection of the ability? Yes, I did take a subsection of the abilities. Okay, right. So. Rip. Okay, so on screen at the moment, signature ability, Magneto's Bleed and Armor Break debuffs gain. That's so. Do you know what? The more I think about it, like this would be great for the competition from the Showdown.
Yeah.
If it gets armor break consistently, based on his speed, special damage, he's gaining max potency, 150%. I should have them side by side, but I can't do that for this video.
Yep.
Knocking out opponent gives a persistent charge. So there's persistent charges on offer. I don't think the other version had that. Not that I remember.
No, I don't think so.
We've still got some stuff with that.
Because he's a little bit more of a support character with that persistent charge.
Yeah.
Is that like a Reed Richards thing where he can activate it and then you can bring someone else in?
Yeah, it's it goes back to that pre-fight of where is it? What we were talking about a moment ago with that kind of like pre-fight ability being about the parry mastery. That it's like it turns into a passive effect. I don't know how that helps out for the point of like shruggers. I don't know if it undermines those that shrug off debuff effects, as it's not technically a debuff being a passive. Come on, am I going to? Yeah, okay, I'm going to scroll this. Okay, that's the pre-fight I wanted to do. The guidance boost. So persistent charges, begins the quest with 6 persistent charges, defeating opponent, blah, blah, blah. Landing hits, being struck, gains 5% chance per persistent charge to gain a prowess buff. So, oh, right, so it seems to be more like down the line. I guess I played that wrong. Down the line, you will probably get the more maximized damage output. So if you're playing the long game with Magneto, House of X, then that's a good option for you. The pre-flight, let's get the pre-fight. Oh, don't skip too much. Come on. I think that's it. I think on screen we can read it quite well. So Magneto can spend 2 persistent charges in pre-flight. I keep saying flight, not fight. Sorry. Attackers in the fight gain plus 15% attack rating. Jesus Christ! Imagine that with that stacks with Aegon.
Yeah, it's a nice little. Basically, it's a free attack boost.
I tell you what,
like
that's something I want to try out with some pretty meaty champions.
Saving you some units right there.
Yep. Hero attackers trigger passive stun effects with the parry mastery instead of debuffs. That's helpful. Yep. Hang on a minute. Does that get? Nah, that wouldn't undermine things like Limber, would it?
I don't know off the top of my head.
I need to have a look at how Limber functions, because if it's
look at the description for Limber.
If Limber's specific to something like debuffs only, then it wouldn't then classify for effects. So would that make Aegon the most OP champion, or this champion here, Magneto, would basically just mess Labyrinth for Legends. Huh. That's food for thought.
I'm reading it right now. The Limber description. Each time the defender receives a stun debuff, they reduce the duration of further stun debuffs by X%.
Ooh.
So this is a passive, not a debuff now. So you could use it to stun a debuff immune champion.
Interesting.
Which is super nice. Like that seems very clear from the description, right? Like debuff immunity, because then it would be the same thing as Wasp, right?
Yeah.
So it should function the same way that Wasp passive stun does.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know if that gets around Limber or not. It sounds like it should.
Yeah. I mean, it's not super sustainable because you would need to build up persistent charges with Magneto. So you need to do like one fight with Magneto, and then you'd have to do one fight with Aegon, and then go back to a fight with Magneto. So it's not sustainable from that particular perspective. But you know, it is what it is. It's still a fun thing.
Yeah. I mean, if you only need it once per lane,
yeah,
that's a nice thing to have in your back pocket. Kind of like Human Torch's pre-fight, right? Like maybe you can only use it once, but with that one time you can use it, it makes a big impact.
Yeah. And then that's the thing about the heavy attacks, 100% chance to gain a prowess buff lasting 30 seconds and granting 35% special attack damage. Max stacks of 3. So that's what I was talking about, that it's different because Magneto OG is all about, you can just hold down and just gain prowess like there's no tomorrow. It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
And then it's all about like building prowess from the point of like the more prowess you have, the more you do. So 9 prowess attack grants the opponent attack grants the opponent 80% less power. So again, this is all about more not utility, but it's more interaction. It's more interactive than OG Magneto. And again, a few different things. I think the bleed debuff. No, it's not. Bleed debuff's on the other. I can't remember. SP1 spamming for your armor breaks. What else we got? Cruelty debuff. Increased critical damage by 400 for 40 seconds. So yeah, just kind of like more. It's more a persistent base champion.
Yep.
Meets slight utility. Nah, it's like you were talking about. Like it complements other champions in your synergy team or in your team.
But he's certainly not useless anymore, is he?
Absolutely, certainly not useless.
That's indeed. Pretty good. There's a number of different tools in his kit now, and yeah, I do think he's going to make an interesting incursions champion when you think about hacks boosting, bleed debuffs, and armor breaks, and the things that those trigger in incursions. That's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I would have loved to have further testing, but it's just timing. Like, even though that we had a lot of time in the CCP beta this month, there's a lot. There's just been too much content to keep up to date with.
It's been crazy.
Yeah, I mean, even today, like that Legends thing dropping. I didn't think they were going to drop any kind of Legends thing until like info until at least like late next week or something. But just left, right, and center stuff is dropping, and it's just covering it. That's the issue.
Yeah.
Right. Other stuff to talk about. Summer of Pain, just quickly. That's been delayed from what we've seen on the forums, and whether or not that's going to come back at a later date, who knows? I don't know. I mean, for me, I'm pretty busy with too many other things at the moment, personally and with the game. So it's difficult to find time for extra content, especially for something that could be temporary rather than permanent.
Right, and with Cavalier difficulty coming in a few weeks, there's going to be a ton of hard stuff to complete next month anyway. So I think they probably just looked at it and were like, wow, there is just a lot going on right now. Maybe we don't need to play this card right this second, and we'll save it for a little bit later.
Yeah.
So my guess is it's coming, but probably not for a little while now.
I would say late September if I was to guess. Just guess on the load, because they've still got
probably at the earliest. Yeah.
Because I have heard nothing of the Act 6 Pain Point posse.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I was thinking that the other day, like, I haven't heard a word about it. By the way, myself and Dan were not in it. That was a very selective few, and I don't think anybody in the CCP is in it. Not that I know of. No one that's said anything.
Janix in it.
Oh, okay. That's one then. That's one member of the CCP. So then it must be a case it's then... I mean, I don't know. I don't think I can remember I even applied for it. So you kind of think like, oh, would it be just be offered out to everybody in the CCP? But it's not. That's not the case.
No, that was a forum thing, and you had to apply.
Yeah. The other thing to talk about is in the last 24 hours, the big kind of scandal drop of Alliance Wars Seasons, and Otrix revealing that about a year or two ago he was approached by some top alliances to figure out a way, either by hacking or modding, to identify which champions were placed on mystery tiles in Alliance Wars.
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Wait, was it the mystery tiles, or was it... I don't know. Maybe I misread. I thought it was like during placement or something.
It might be during placement. I might have
where they would know, like they could, it seemed like they wanted the defense in advance.
Oh, so right. Okay,
there was some clear shenanigans and cheating going on. I mean, obviously we have no way to verify what Otrix is saying. I also have no reason to doubt him, and my surprise level at the allegation is sitting at a solid 0.0. Yeah. So, it certainly sounds like something that could have happened.
Yeah.
Especially in the older Alliance War seasons where those rewards were really the end-all, be-all of the game, and people weren't just focused on Alliance Quest at the time.
That's true. It's not been... sometimes it's not too great. It's not too great.
No. There's some... I mean, there was so much stuff back in the old days when they were... The big boys were timing their matchmaking to avoid each other and trying to figure out who they played before hitting the matchmaking button and all that kind of stuff. So, I'm glad at least that's been taken away.
Yeah. That really kind of covers it, I think, for a lot of our MCOC side, and MCOC side. Oh, we're going to the MCOC side, and now we're now going to approach onto the Marvel Realm side. So, if you don't know already, the beta has been out. I've been trying to cover as much as possible, but I've been very busy. I will next week be back to covering a lot more of the Realm side. And as a little treat for anybody that's interested, I will be throwing up on screen in a moment on my on the YouTube side of things some gameplay of all kind of like the screen and what you see from Marvel Realm as myself and Dan talk a little bit more about the game, which is really, really great. All this time that we've been waiting for the last year for this game, we're now kind of like, we're here.
Right, and the trailer did not do the game justice.
No, exactly.
The game looks way better than the trailer made it look.
Yeah.
So I don't know why that is, but when I loaded the game on my iPad and got a first look at it, it's glorious looking. It's everything you expect from the Kabam art team, and they've of course got updated technology, considering Realm is a much newer game than MCOC is. It looks beautiful. All the different pieces of gear, and particularly the battle arenas, are super cool. So I'm definitely liking that. Yeah,
I would say from my perspective, there's some things that I like and things that I don't like. I will make it fully known. There's this moment where I get I think it's best that this is played on an iPad. I personal thing that I think it's better on an iPad than it is on a on on a phone or device.
Yeah,
I think just from from a graphic standpoint, but this is the beta, so I don't know if anything will change from this to what is actually going to be the full release. There's also limitations from the point of, I'd say, further advancement for the amount of people playing it. If there is those that have got the advantage of being higher rating, the matchmaking can't really pick together people that are all equal. So
right. There's just not a big enough pool right now.
Correct.
For that. So yeah, I mean, about the iPhone iPad thing, you could really tell the difference in the feedback and the excitement for the game based on what device people are playing on. Because when I read some of the feedback from people playing on a phone, it's a very different experience than what I have felt. But at the same time, when I play the game, I have zero interest in playing Realm on a phone right now. Like,
yeah.
I don't see myself playing that game on my phone. I think it needs the bigger screen, and I think it's awesome on the bigger screen. But it's the same way. Like, I don't have MCOC on the iPad. I think MCOC is a perfect phone game. When the times that I've played MCOC on an iPad at New York Comic Con, I don't really enjoy playing MCOC on a bigger device, right? Like, I kind of like holding it, and I don't know, just moving around a little bit while I play. Like, I like that experience.
Yeah.
But with Realm, there's a lot more to look at.
Yeah.
and to manage. And I do think you need that. You do need the space. And you've talked about this too, right? Like, on the phone, the controls are really tight just because of the small screen. Like, with the iPad, like, it's awesome, right? Like, there's plenty of space for me to have the 3 special buttons and then to dash if I need to, or just light attack or heavy attack. Like, I've never accidentally hit the special.
Yeah.
When I'm trying to do a light or a heavy attack or a dash, because there's just more room for my thumb.
Yeah, true. I've just played a little snippet of a fight, and this is again what I'm talking about, the matchmaking. That's going to be the thing for how pleasant the experience is for me. With I've got my Iron Legionnaire at battle rating 328. I then on my team have got someone with 345 and 496 respectively. And we're going up against a team of somebody with a battle rating of 800, 354, which is fine, but then 660 for somebody else. So it's like, it does mean
that's a monster difference.
That is a monster difference.
Like that, like someone who's an 800 right now is, first of all, they probably haven't turned the game off.
Yeah.
Since the beta started. Like that, I've seen a few people around 1,000 for player rating, but 800's really, really high, and they're just gonna wreck everything.
Yeah, I know. You can now buy units in game.
I did see that went active earlier this morning, so that makes me think that they're not going to like end the beta and kill everyone's account. That this is just going to roll over to the live servers. Does that jive with what you're thinking now?
Yeah, that does. It's kind of weird that that's the case, and it's also further weird because I don't understand what we were doing at Marvel at New York Comic Con for kind of registering. Were we registering our intent, or were we registering our account name? I'm a bit confused with that, because I thought I set up something with my account name being RichTheMan, as opposed to me setting up my name as being or my assignment being the website that I registered with.
Yeah.
I'm a bit confused with that, but
yeah, that was a long time ago. I don't remember that part of it.
Yeah, I remember going into the room and setting up, but I can't remember like whether or not I reserving my name.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought it was more just like an email thing where it was like, we're gonna contact you when the game is live, so you can remember to join.
Yeah.
So how are you actually enjoying the combat though?
Combat's fine. I think the issue is just getting everything kind of lined up, and this is where like I think an iPad is better than a phone. As when you go into the battle and you've got the below your character, you've got like a green ring with like a point to it, like an arrow. The arrow is so small, it's at times hard to distinguish where it's pointing. And from a point of view of going like, right, well, where are my attacks going? I'm kind of like, well, I don't know what I'm pointing at. I feel like, am I pointing at the right or the wrong thing? And at times, like, am I kind of hitting in the correct direction, or am I throwing like attacks in just the unknown? It doesn't. There's no lock on. Not to say this should or shouldn't be, because it does then kind of amplify the competitive elements to it. But at the same time, it's like, oh, am I hitting right? Am I hitting wrong? And there's also like just a timing thing of remembering to evade away. Is it the right time to evade away? And also remembering to, when you start off, to do the co-op stuff first, and then think about doing the arena when you want it to be a bit more competitive. Because that's another thing. Right. Like, I keep making the same mistake of going in for a fight into the arena, and I'm like, I should be just doing the co-op first and building my my gear, building up my characters, and then thinking about, okay, next I'll do stuff.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to get the 20 PvP matches, 20 PvP wins, so I can unlock Storm.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to do as well.
That's my big goal right now. Thankfully, got to finally actually do a party a couple times last night instead of just matching with randoms, and that really helped.
Yeah,
so
I gotta do that.
got a couple matches in with Dragon, and Skaven's already got a 1,000 rated Storm in game, so he has not put this thing down.
God.
Yeah, it was sick. I saw that thing and I was like, well, I guess we're winning.
Yeah.
And of course he's like, he can, I guess Storm can like freeze people in place. So there's, remember with the MCOC roadmap, things like root got talked about. Well, root is very prevalent in Realm, and you see that in a couple different functions with like Spider-Man, where he can like web you into a spot. Yeah. So it's super fun when Spider-Man webs your opponent into a spot and you're playing as Iron Man and you hit the special 3 arc overload and you just blast him for 10 seconds. When that happens to you, it's not as chill.
No, exactly. That is
so that that can get frustrating. Basically, the things that if you're doing it, it's going to be fun. If it's happening to you, it's going to be frustrating. So that's a PvP game, right? Like it's, if there's a winner and a loser, like in MCOC, the computer doesn't get salty when it loses to us all the time.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm just kind of like now just trying to like use my Spidey to kind of like evade away from stuff, and then get smacked in the back. Always happens to the best of us.
It does. Yeah, there's definitely a lot to learn, but I did think it was smooth, and I was really worried about this chaotic experience. And well, there's a lot going on. I definitely didn't feel overwhelmed like I have in a lot of games that sort of have a similar camera angle and gear structure.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that just has to do with there's so much familiarity in this game already. If you're coming over from MCOC, it's like there's ISO, there's gold, there's units, there's leveling up, there's ranking up. It's like, oh, I already know the terms. We're already speaking the same language here. So that's super helpful.
Yeah, there's stuns as well. There's stuns, unstoppables, and such like.
There's stuns and unstoppables, and it's like, oh yeah, I've seen some of this before, and some of this is probably coming over to MCOC.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, when we talk about things like root that has been mentioned, so yeah, I think that's cool. I'm really interested in seeing how they flesh out the game. Honestly, I would love a nice story quest in this game. Like, I'm really interested in this. Who killed the maestro? Where is that going? I like the cutscenes. I like the barons popping in and dropping all those hints. So I want to. I think I said on Twitter, like, yeah, I want Gabe Frazera to get his guillotine comic book, and I want him to, just be writing more stories that we can play through. I like what he's throwing down there from a story angle, and I do feel like Realm maybe sets up to be a game where you can experience the story a little bit more than you do in MCOC, where honestly, like, you can kind of skip and it doesn't really matter. Like, there's just a lot more choice that could happen in a game with like Realm, where like, do I do missions for this house or do I do missions for that house? Let's face it, like in MCOC, whether you want to overthrow the Grandmaster or not, you have to do it to continue on in the game, right? It's not like, I'm not really buying what Karina's selling, I'm going to side against her, right? Like, you can't do that. But maybe in Realm, there'll be an option to be like, oh, I like what Hulk's doing. I like what the Ancient One's doing. I'm gonna help them out more, and maybe that'll impact my progression and how I experience the story. And we know that the Battle Realm has a map, but we don't really experience it in game. It's more like an Easter egg thing. But with Realm, like, the map's there, and there's all these shadowy lands that could connect, that are bordering some of these territories that could get added in later.
Yeah, all that kind of interactive stuff that we were hoping for.
Yeah. So we'll see. There could be a lot more to come. It's just a beta right now, so we assume they're taking notes and seeing what people like and don't like. And if you are playing the game, jump in the official Discord. There is a link in-game to get you into their Discord and give them some feedback.
Where can that be found?
It's in the if you click in the top left in the settings button.
And under community. So community, and then so I've got it on screen now for people that are interested. So you can then go to Discord, which I'll be setting up in a minute after. And I think that covers a lot of the topics that we were looking to cover.
Yeah, so much going on. It's always an exciting time in MCOC these days. So. And Realm now. It's nice to actually be able to put some Realm in the Contest Realm podcast.
Yeah. I know that'll be good. Like, each week we'll kind of like maybe talk about what we're up to and stuff.
Yep.
Love it. Okay, thank you everybody for listening, and in some cases watching on YouTube. As you all know, we have a playlist for the Contest Round podcast, and you can find myself and Dan on the links in the bio. Make sure to come by each Friday to the respective sites, YouTube and Dan's YouTube, and as well on Twitch for myself for the streams, whether or not it's incursions and whether or not it's a Marvel Realm sloggerfest as it should be. You also can catch us on SoundCloud, Spotify, and iTunes podcasts. We thank you for listening and watching, and we'll see you all next week. Bye bye, everybody.